I started using sex, overusing sex in our relationship so that his dick would be so tired he wouldn't go girls on the weekends when he went to his events. Yeah, a little bit of it. I mean, I spared that relationship greatly. I only said a few little things, but yeah, it took a lot of time for me to heal from the type of trauma that I experienced in that relationship. And it took a long time for me to take ownership and accountability for not loving myself properly and allowing it. That's the hardest part, yourself, when you have to forgive yourself. Well, I actually had written a good amount of this just in I journal every day. So I had actually written a good amount of this prior to after the relationship. I was in that space. I have a much wider perspective of life since Bali. And because my viewpoint is not, my vantage point is not as narrow, I'm able to have peace with speaking on the things I'm saying because I've taken enough time away from them to know what's true. And I think when you release something, especially a piece of art, you should never do it when you're trying to get back at somebody or you're angry or you want to hurt, when you have bad intentions. So I wanted to make sure that my intentions were just about appreciating a piece of music that could potentially speak to other women that understand what it's like to see somebody that you thought loved you and did certain things with you go on to the next girl and do the same exact routine. At the time that I wrote it, it was for 3 people. It was for myself. I used to look in the mirror and say that when I was in it. It's for the girls that warned me before I got in it. Go ahead and have them, you'll see. And it was for the potential girls in the future who maybe are in the place where I was standing up for all of it and making it look so beautiful from the outside, but really inside it was everything but. And also, by the way, my writing partner I wrote with, Marissa, she's had a similar experience. And she said, you don't know, she called me the other day and she's like, your lyrics I feel like you're speaking for me. And I love that she said that because I feel like it is so pointed, but it really is incredible how many women share that same experience of just seeing someone move right along, calling the next person the same pet names, waking them up the same way, all the little ingredients that make people think that they love them are the same ingredients they use on everyone. I kind of like being the only one alive that knows exactly how you show love and lie. Because the character that he's created is lovable. And the production that created his image and editing is lovable. And for the people that don't get the lovable edit, they tend to be looked at as more of the problem, and the person that's lovable always gets away with the same routines. And I think more people are coming forward and discussing that type of scenario. This happen in the celebrity world. It happens in everyone's lives. So I think that there's a lot of things that he said after it, and this is my time to reference a few of those. What started it when I was journaling, I think I saw an article or people talking about how they know that the love is real and better than at Aubrey O'Day. So of course I was added on it, so I read it. Because of the way that he wakes her up in the morning. And then they list things that he does. And I I wondered for a long time, why isn't he treating her the way he treated me? Because I was like ready to be a good partner and a mother, and I was. And I wondered for a long time, was there something wrong with me? That the next girl gets this great version of somebody that appears that way, but you wonder, like, why didn't you get that version of them? And then when I read all of the comments that were adding me, I realized he woke me up that same way for 2.5 years. So I guess we're all having the same experience, aren't we? And that's what started the idea of the song. Literally, the opening says, turned on the TV the other day, saw you talking about the way y'all love. They call it love. Love, yeah, that's interesting. Because it was the same thing for me too. We were together all the way up until he left to go film the new season of Jersey Shore that they got brought back, and he got his fame back. And once he went there, it was, I love you still and we're gonna be together. But I was told he some girls at the club on my birthday. So that's how that ended. In a nutshell. There were plenty of problems prior to that, but I think that you have to really do so much work on yourself in order to be a changed human, and you have to think that you've done something wrong and want to change. And I don't believe that he's ever taken any time to hold himself accountable. I'd love to see what his response is to this. If he goes to the media and says the same trash that he's been talking about me since we broke up, it's likely that he's still the same exact human, because I don't see that he's had a break to be on his own without the fame monster creating more ammunition behind the character and more fantasy lands to operate in, until you're left with yourself. Like in Bali, I was in a world of no entertainment, no celebrities, untouched land, and myself. And I had to hold myself accountable for many of the times that I've operated outside of the integrity that I want to have as a woman in life. Well, when I heard it, I was so used to, I got really into escaping into Ambien. I was given Ambien as a young child. I mean, I started in this industry at 17 because I was having problems sleeping on airplanes. And it started to become something that I took to escape the abuse and pain of things that were happening in that life. And it was overtaken because I was over experiencing a lot of it. When he said it, I took Ambien and I went back to sleep. That's what I did for a good amount of COVID, because I couldn't do anything without seeing Jersey Shore on a billboard outside my home. For the love of Pauly, and plenty of people know the way that I was treated in that relationship, and seeing that they gave him another opportunity to potentially be harmful to another woman in even mental ways, etc., was very troubling to me. The system, I felt, was failing. And then Don Jr. was on my television because all I watch is the news and MSNBC. And so I got to have those things in my face at all times. And I became dependent on being able to escape from the pain, because it was so painful. My heart broke so deeply that I couldn't do anything but take a pill and go to sleep. And a lot of people take Ambien, and a lot of people use it to escape. And I want to be a voice to those people, because it can become very addictive to needing that escape if you're in a high pressure life. And I had to move to Bali and get into alternative medicine, get into theta healing, Reiki healing, Wim Hof. ice baths, breath work. I mean, I had to completely shift over to alternative medicine to break the pattern of big pharma and its impact on allowing me to escape. I have a goddaughter that is 10 years old and on Adderall. It's unhealthy the way that we're treating mental health. And I want to be an advocate for people. I mean, if we were to just employ breath work into the educational system, kids could breathe and understand how to calm down from anger instead of take a gun and shoot everyone up at school. And I can't say that with more of a firm tone. I'm really, really into being completely honest, including saying all of the really embarrassing things. Like, I was taking a lot of medication because what he was doing was murdering my soul. Yeah, he wished I never met his daughter. He said that in multiple interviews, that he'd be careful next time and never be like careless about who gets to meet her, as if I played a negative role or no role in her life. And I won't ever get into details about my relationship with another man's child with someone else, because I don't think there's integrity in that, and I'm not a gossip. But I can tell you through my lens and my eyes only, I loved that child. And there were many things that I taught her. And there were many ways that I made her a neater human being when her and I would be alone spending time together. And I've never seen anyone betray the truth so flagrantly. And it was very hurtful. And I didn't deserve it. Pauly cares about Pauly. First and foremost, maybe only, in my opinion. He will protect himself at all costs. I am no part of his plan or life. And I think he, I've heard him on shows laughing that I'm a D-list loser and how he could do so much better. Jenny McCarthy, I think, called me that, a D-list loser, and that he could do so much better. I was really hurt and offended that a woman I don't even know was speaking about me like that. I thought that was very rude of her. So I would like to also make that clear. Call me Jenny McCarthy with your big ass mouth and tell me that to my face. I want them to know that it was toxic, and also I loved him deeply. I also likely loved things that were superficial ideas that I had about wanting people to see me in this perfect relationship. Like around that time, couple goals was really a hashtag. And the people that had, the Kardashians made the whole world feel like shit on Valentine's Day if you don't have 18 million roses lined up in your home with 16 whatever balloons and animals. I mean, like, it literally became a thing. How much are you loved and how much does your man care about you for Valentine's Day? I remember buying myself balloons and taking photos for Instagram as if he did something for me, and people being like, I'm so jealous, like, you guys have such a perfect life. And he was like off cheating. He didn't even do anything. So, and I was like arguing with a girl on the phone that had my man's dick that night. So like, I faked so much of things like that, like a fake. So there was something wrong with me that I was being so inauthentic about the truth of our situation. I've also heard him say many times, like, oh, if she was so miserable, why did she stay? That's like the number one thing that abusers say, if you know anything about abusive relationships, by the way. But that's a good question. Why did I stay? And I had to take ownership and accountability. And the reasons were I was sick and I did not love myself. So what I would want people to know is I was able to find myself because I betrayed myself. I was able to get closer to integrity because I was operating without it. I was able to get better, but it took a while, and I really hurt my body with medication to escape the pain. And I never want other women, I want to try as best I can to save them from that route, because the easiest thing to do after having your heart broken is to escape. He escaped into fame, I escaped into medication. Either way, I would want to end it on a positive note and say, it is possible that people can change and be better to other people that they date after you. It is possible that other people are better for you and they don't bring out bad behaviors, and that maybe they bring out the best in you. So it is possible that other people are experiencing something completely different than me. And I do leave room and grace for the possibility that hopefully we both have been able to grow and be better as people. But with all that bullshit aside, girl, I went through hell and I survived it. And all you women out there that are in this can do it too. And watch for the signs. When they start telling you you can't do things, there are rules, when you hear the word consequences, every woman I've met that's been in an abusive relationship searches the word consequences in their phone, and the man that abused them comes up in their text messages. Consequences are a big thing for people that are in unhealthy relationships. When you start hearing words like that, get out quickly. Love doesn't have consequences when you behave a certain way. Love is about adoration, kindness, connection, building people up, making them feel beautiful, not threatened, not scared, not cheated on, not wondering if they're lovable or loved. And if you feel any of those things, to all the women out there, I support you. If you're in that place, I support you. Come to me. Come to my OnlyFans. Come to my DMs on Instagram. I'm here for you. Let's start a coalition. A lot of women have been in that place and they're scared to talk about it because it's usually at the hands of a man that's more powerful than them. Okay, bitch, here you go. So I didn't have sex after Pauly for 3 years. I started overusing sex in our relationship so that his dick would be so tired he wouldn't go girls on the weekends when he went to his events. Straight up. I don't know how to say that cute, Tamara, so I'm sorry. I know you're going to give me a whole lecture for that one. But
no, you're okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
I didn't want him to cheat. I mean, I would wake up in the morning early when he was leaving to see if he was shaving his pubes in the shower, because I knew if he was making his dick pretty for somebody, and it wasn't me. That's how bad it got. That's how many girls. I mean, that girl that claimed she had Cardi B's husband's baby. Remember that girl that became popular, the Black Widow or whatever they call her? Do you guys remember her name? I don't know. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think there was a lawsuit against her too, actually.
Yeah, she was the first person that came to me and said she Pauly while we were together. And that was the very first girl I ever had to deal with. And there were many after that. And he would always gaslight me into feeling like I'm making these things up and he's a celebrity and girls are crazy and they're just gonna lie. But it was too consistent every weekend, same conversations. And if you're not guilty, then why are there parties happening where you take the girls' cell phones at the door? Because there was never really any phone proof, but there was always something coming at me. So I've never been in a relationship like that. I've never been with a cheater. I've never had to be lied to and call girls and argue with them over did they have sex with my man. It's trash. It's just straight trash. I hated doing it. It was so beneath me.